Hi everyone and welcome, or welcome back if it's not your first time here. Sitting here in the Mithdrano wilderness opposite this rather imposing looking Electrum dragon for what's going to be our first little episode, first look at the arcane trickster archetype. Hope you're all having a good day. Here it's just turning spring, which in the UK means an end, mercifully, to the endless days of grey, drizzle, rain, cold, muddy fields, all the rest of it, and a little bit of colour and, dare I say, even some sunshine is returning to our little corner of the world. So happy for that. When you have a dog to walk, you really notice these kinds of things. Right, so been looking forward to this. I'm guessing most, if not all of you who wanted to dip your toes into it have already done so. So as usual, I'm behind the curve. But I wanted to finish that little paladin project I was doing before moving on to this. As mentioned previously, my druid caster purple is getting the job of doing these trickster lives because he's the only one of the four characters I play that will benefit from the past lives, the illusion and force. So I figured it would be a good idea to give him the duty. He does have a decent stack of epic past lives to draw on. So we've got Brace, Ancient Power, Double Strike, and Enchant Weapon. In fact, the only desirable thing he's missing is the iconic one. I don't have any Scourge lives for the Double Strike on this, so Shader Kai it is. I should probably mention at this point what I'm planning to do for the life. I am killing a couple of birds with one stone here because we never really did with purple. I've never really featured a rogue on the channel, period, I don't think. So we're going to do that. We're going to go with the most of the points in the Thief Acrobat for the stick quarterstaff style. Mainly because my reading suggests the spellcastery type is quite slow to get started and lacking in AoE. And from what I've read, I just don't fancy having a go with that. But the stick thing I definitely do, because we never did, as mentioned, a rogue stick build in the past. I do enjoy them, so yeah, we're going to go with that. But I have definitely put plans in place. Hope to show you that here and again later in as we get further up the levels, to make this sort of unique, being as it is a trickster, and draw on some of the spell-like abilities they have to make our going somewhat easier. So yeah, let's start off with the stats. I had to put 14, I think, in strength. No, 15 even, isn't it, to be able to take the two-handed fighting for the quarterstaff straight away. Dex, I think I left alone. Con, obviously, a decent investment, and intelligence was the main stat. Now, the issue, well, there are a couple of issues I faced when creating this. One of which is that there is no trans in any of the rogue trees, as far as I can tell. So you're always going to have to dip into something else. In our case, as intelligence is the main one, it made sense to go into Harper. I had considered putting Dex as the main, which would have fit better with the Thief Acrobat tree. We've got, as you can see, we've got Dex in here, and then we've got something in here giving Dex as well. But and I think all the way through the cores we've also got Dex and strength. There's nothing really for intelligence, which, given that this archetype is a thing now and that really does want to focus on intelligence, it would have been nice if they'd done more than just change this to allow for intelligence on that one. I don't plan to do anything with this sweeping strikes, because according to the wiki it's bugged, and does it only go off strength or something like that. But in any case, I probably would have shunned this, because my plan here is to go heavy on the invest heavy on the Trickster disable device for DCs. If you didn't know, if you're new to all this, like many of us are, the spell-like abilities, not the spells themselves, but the spell-like abilities, of which the Trickster gets one in every core apart from the first, one multi-selector. These go as is mentioned. No, it's not mentioned there. It's mentioned on the hotbar, isn't it? Can we see? Does it say? Yes, at the bottom there. The DC of these spells are equal to your disable device skill. So they're not affected by heighten and embolden, which it seems strange then that those are allowed as options for the Trickster bonus skills, but hey ho. As you can see there, I've managed to reach what is a pretty prodigious DC. That's outside of Reaper, 80 on the save for a DC. Now I've only ever seen that area on the Dragon Lord with the Dragon's Roar previously. In late heroic, we're 15 obviously starting as an iconic. In late heroic, I've seen them sort of in the 60s, 70s, 80s. But this is the only thing. I mean, even a bard would not be able to compete with this at this level. So I don't know. I know it's only for these select few spell-like abilities, but you could potentially. I'm going to have to stop at 4 because the points are going to dictate that. So I won't get a choice of the 5th core, which is a shame because Greater Shout is one of the options in there. But we will end up with Fine Dust from Alchemist, the Sound Burst from the Cleric or Favoured Soul, and also the excellent Flash Freeze from Alchemist, albeit that's on a long cooldown, 30 seconds. But between those three, hopefully going forward, we'll have something for every situation and on a terrific DC. I mean, this Fine Dust, I hadn't really played with it that much with Alchemist, but it's on quite a wide cone in front of you, albeit short-ranged, and any problem thing that can't be stunned with the sound burst, stuff like undead plants, golems, all that kind of stuff, a lot of it, you can knock it down, and albeit it doesn't cause helpless, so we're not benefiting from the no mercy in our acrobat tree, but it's not attacking you, so you can just kill it at leisure. So happy days. So we have a nice little combination going already, depending on the situation. I've slightly digressed, haven't I? Yeah. So all that to say that we had to dip into Harper for our trans and intelligence to hit, intelligence to damage. So that's all that taken care of. The Trickster tree does have an imbue. You get a choice there. You can take it scaling with melee power, ranged power, or spell power. I think spell power would have been better early on, but I don't want to. I want to just gear it as a standard melee with using my standard leveling gear. And I've just made a couple of concessions to disable device gear to help the spell DC, which I'll show you in a minute. Race, this is purely for the past life. I was thinking what to do. I was determined to do an iconic so I could get it going quickly and see a bit how the thing played. And the only reason I took Scoundrel was because I fancied on this character the +1 reflex save that's going to give. He has evasion on his druid build, and +1 reflex save sounded like a nice option, so that's why I went for that. If not for that, I would have probably done Trailblazer. He has 5 racial points, by the way. That's the only reason I've put anything in here. we've got this hellish rebuke. I don't know whether he'll get too much of anything out of that, but 3 on spell saves versus spells isn't bad. If I wasn't focusing on the past life benefit, I would probably have gone for Trailblazer. You can get some nice things in there: deflect missile, a sneak attack dice. You can also get immunity to wear on the weapon, which on a quarterstaff is quite important, especially a low-level one like this one. We're using the very popular Elemental Bloom. The paralysis on that goes off quite often, and the bewildering on there helps it to go off because it's reducing the opponent's will save. I was talking about stopping wear on the weapon. The other way you can do it, no matter what what combination you've picked, because the Trickster gets magical training, you can go into Fade Arc and take this illusory weaponry, and that converts your weapon material to force, making it immune to wear. Big thanks to Wagon in the past who pointed that out to me, and I've used it productively ever since. So, let's just quickly finish the stats. So, oh yeah, intelligence main one. These two I didn't do too much with. So I've focused on the two-handed line on the feats, and obviously the disable DC. It's the first time I've ever focused on a skill to that level. But when you think it's your spell DCs, suddenly it becomes important. So I don't think I've ever taken a skill focus on anything. And here, I think might we see it down there somewhere? Crikey, it's all over the... Yeah, there we go. Skill focus disabled device. To me, a 3 bonus on the spell DCs seemed like a good bit of business for this build. So I think probably I've done an overkill, at least for heroic. But 80 seems like a decent... I mean, the other one, Nimble Fingers, is more popular, not for the disabled device, more for the sneak attack dice it gives when combined with a Shadow Dancer enhancement, which we will also be taking because that's giving 6 disabled device later on into Epic. So yeah, I look forward to... I mean, I'm sure all along the Epic journey that disabled device is going to remain competitive. So I look forward to that carrying us to where we'd like to go. So feats, I might as well just mention what we took. The two-handed line, obviously, precision for the extra hit chance and fort bypass, standard stuff. You've seen the 2 there for the disable, to nimble fingers and skill focus to boost that up another 5. And otherwise, let me just bring up the thing. I can't show it on the screen, unfortunately. I've got it in the builder here. Oh, improved critical bludgeoning, obviously, for quarterstaffs. We were auto-granted the excellent swords to plowshares in Thief Acrobat, otherwise I would have taken that. Let's have a quick look here. I think I've mentioned most of them. Oh, of course, you get Trickster bonus magic feats. Now, a lot of them are fairly useless to us because all the maximize type stuff, we're not really doing anything with that. Although the magical ambush does trigger on things like soundburst, but I haven't spec'd for any kind of the magical damage, so I'm just leaving that alone. So the 2 bonus magic feats I've taken are to help what we're doing. The CC spells need quickening, so I've obviously got quicken, and the short-term buffs that they get, like displacement and haste, can benefit from extend. So those are the 2 I've taken to start with. And I think that's everything. We don't have too many feats to take. Later on at 18, I'll be taking greater two-handed fighting, and then we'll be on into the epics. So that's the feat side of things. Let's have a look at the enhancements that we were already beginning to have a look at. This, as mentioned, I've just put points in because he had 5 racial points to spend. Could certainly have been better spent on a different race, but this race is dictated by the past life reward I would like. Here, all the way up the side of the Thief Acrobat, we've got more hit and damage with quarterstave, so nothing not to like there. Taken the extra hit points and threat, what is it, threat range and multiplier. I will be taking these. I'm just a bit short of points at the moment because I wanted to show you some things in the Trickster tree on the first episode, so I'll be taking those, but not till later on. Otherwise, we have an excellent 15% attack speed bonus with quarterstaves down there, and an equally excellent speed bonus. So being as we've had a first level of Bard imposed on us by starting as a scoundrel, we can only get a max 19 Trickster, so I thought let's take 1 level in something else to help us. I had considered 1 arty to get 3 more disabled device from Battle Engineer. That wouldn't have been a terrible idea, possibly overkill. In the end, I went with 1 barbarian for the run speed. So we've got 1 bard, 1 barbarian, and the rest will be arcane trickster. So we will get to this nice looking core eventually. I don't know about this last core. It doesn't look amazing, especially not for our build, because we're not using strength or dex. Well, dex for reflex save. Insightful reflexes is one thing that's bitten the bullet with my concession to, or is it an obsession to pushing the disabled device DCs. I guess there's 5% attack speed in there. It doesn't look amazing, that one. So I'm not too gutted to have missed out on it. I would, of course, have taken it had we been pure. Let's have a quick look at the... Oh, speaking of disabled DC, in the fullness of time, we've got 3 more to come from the mechanic tree. I've got my eye on those in the background. I'm envisaging putting 20-odd points in Trickster, so the 4th core plus 1 or 2 tasty things from up here. We'll see where we get to. But there are some nice things for our build in here. 3 crowd control spells with very high DC, as already mentioned. Got the old disabled device going on at the bottom here. It's funny how something that would have been, if not completely shunned, sort of definitely cast to the background, suddenly becomes, you know, right in the spotlight on this type of character. Because also these little mage hand things are also going off disable device. So as you can see there, they have ridiculously high saves as well. Now, the nice thing about these, they're only single target. That's a single target blind. That's a single target stun. 10-second cooldown's a reasonably long cooldown, but they can be done in between other things. Think of using a rune arm on an arty. It's like an independent action. So you can if you happen to have a Reaper pop up, you can just throw that as you're all the while swinging your weapon. So it doesn't break the animation. So that's quite nice. Nicer still is the one that comes here, which is the standard stuff, I think. No longer immune to sneak attacks, blah, blah. But the thing that it really is good on, creature type change for 3 seconds to something or other else. And what that means is it makes, because that happens first before the stun or the blind, it makes things that wouldn't traditionally be stunnable, as far as I'm aware, vulnerable to being stunned and stopped. So that's a really good one to pick up, and I definitely plan to get that, because it then enhances the value of the other 2. Imbue I've already mentioned. You've choices whether to do it melee power, spell power, whatever you fancy. This is very nice. Catch a glove, deflect missile, always nice to have in a tree. And the extra dodge, nice too, because we're always being light or even cloth, I guess. I guess light armor would be the standard for this because you've got the thing in there as well. Extra bonus, max dex bonus for light armor. And then we go further up. This line's really nice. We've got bonus imbue dice for rogue levels, so we'll have 18 rogue levels. To me, that equates to 5 bonus imbue dice. That's very strong. And then sneak attack dice. We'll have 3 meta magic feats by the time we get to 20, so an extra 3 sneak dice isn't terrible either. Anything else I wanted to highlight in here? No, I don't think so for the time being. I think that's about it. So let's have a quick look at the gear, see what I've done to try and boost the disabled device. So, two pieces basically is all it was. These goggles, which I've Kenneth crafted. I've put some spell pen on because I realised, I didn't know this, but I realised that I don't think that one does have spell pen, but the sound burst definitely does. It says spell pen there required, and as does flash freeze. I didn't know those, but it won't hurt us. These goggles I think are going to be worn all the way to the epic cap, just because of the enormous bonus to DCs it's giving. So hopefully they'll see us proud. The other item, this came from the Beholder optional chest in Mirror in Wayloon. Dead easy to farm. Don't bother completing the quest. Just go up to the area where the optional is, kill the beholder, open the chest, rinse and repeat. I was very lucky. I got it on my first try with this, but you are guaranteed, as far as I know, in that chest, 1 piece of loot every time you open it. I've never known me not get a piece of loot from in there, so it's not going to be a painful farm. And it does, as you can see there, give us +4 bonus to, among other things, our disabled device. I've thrown a diamond of intelligence in there for good measure. Otherwise, it's pretty standard leveling gear that I've used in the past. We've got an ethereal ring for hitting the incorporeal targets, reapers, etc. I think there's a better one from Shan, a level 15 one, isn't there, that comes with stunning and other goodies on, but I don't have that for this character. Little 2-piece set with Volkor's Might on it for 3 bonus to attack and damage. Actually, the spell sight on there is going to help us a little bit too, because the mage hand abilities also trigger that magical ambush thing, the extra force damage, don't they? And that scales with spell power, so every little helps, I guess. It's with me not having spec for it, the damage is very minimal. I'm the stuff here and the spells, they're purely for CC, and my weapon will do the rest. Part of the family set. Lovely set, this. Tons of nice stuff on there. And my one Myth Drana item. I could have put artifact bonus to intelligence on there. If it was just for this character, I would have done, but other people are going to wear that. So con, everybody needs con, don't they? So I've left it as that. I mean, that's the scary thing. I could have pushed even higher, There's a raid item from the Heroic Giant Hold raid, Bracer, I think, that could have pushed us another 5 disabled DC. I could have got Insightful Intelligence and both Artifact and Profane bonus to Intelligence from Mithranna. We could, if we'd really wanted to go sweaty, I think we could have pushed towards 90 at this point. I could have Intelligence 8 instead of 6 on a diamond or a piece of gear or something at the moment. So yeah, but I think we've done okay to be where we are. Boots is my standard golden greaves for the damage reduction. Given that we only have potions of Cure Serious to heal at the moment, I know I could just carry it. This is a very good one as well, the Rana Leaf Heart. I could just take her around with me and she would do a fine job of doing the healing in the background. But between those boots and this excellent ring, we're not needing too much healing. The 120 profane bonus, 10 hit point there, the demonic shield, that thing is on legendary gear. So to have that available at this low level, that really does make a nice barrier. And they find it fairly tough to chip through that unless it's something like a red crowned caster or something. And yeah, all that combined with the weapon, the bloom, I don't see a reason why we shouldn't, because it's usable from 7, as you can see there. If you've never tried it, it comes from the Temple of Elemental Evil chain, and going from 7 through to the heroic cap with this is totally viable. And it does still paralyze things way higher than around the level you get it at. So I think the only thing you need to bear in mind is it would be nice to have some way to negate the wear on it, because this one does take quite a bit of damage if you don't have a way to stop that wear, either in maybe in the Tabaxi racial tree or this method I've described with the Feydark Illusionist, the illusory weaponry. Okay, I think that's about it. So broadly speaking, lead with the CC, throw in the little mage hand, stun and blind against nasty targets like Reapers, although the Soundburst should deal with them nicely too. Throw in the quick strike to benefit from the excellent bonus there to double strike. And for big fights, haste boost, Reaper's double strike. Hopefully that will see us proud. So I've planned to do a couple of quests in here just to show you where we're at. I'm actually going to show myself as well, because I literally just picked up the Soundburst. So you can see 81 in Reaper. One thing to mention, the DC enhancements don't affect the spell-like abilities of the Trickster. The only reason I've gone up from 80 to 81 is the extra 2 points in intelligence from there. And obviously I've loaded a couple of points of spell pen once I realised that was going to be a thing for this life. That's one of the downsides of having taken the Bard iconic. We've got to listen to this, and he's even playing his quarterstaff, isn't he? So extend on the short-term buffs, 2.5 minutes already at 15, that's nice.
The Platinum Dragon's librarian has unsealed the entry into the library proper.
Let's try and demonstrate. So a Reaper, we're going to try and stun the bugger. So did you see he's just... That was the slap thing. You could see the little hand animating above his head. One thing I haven't talked about. Hopefully we'll get a trap in here somewhere. This is quite nice. The mage hand disabled traps, because in some instances the trap box will be in an awkward to reach place, or sound burst. Lovely. And as soon as we get something with the sound burst, that does cause helpless. So we benefit then from the 30% extra helpless damage in the Thief Acrobat tree. One thing I will mention, I know you thought I was just going to go ahead and do the quest. This helpless business came up in the forum again recently. And obviously it's going to be a theme running through this life as well. I wish they would do something about this, because granted, after years of playing, I've got to a stage where I do know some things about it, you know, what causes, what doesn't. But you shouldn't have to. And like, if you have something in your tree like this that gives more damage to the helpless, you need to know, you know, because I thought for ages, for years even, the paralysis on this bloom, well, it's got to cause helpless, doesn't it? No. And in fact, I'm led to believe it doesn't even make the target vulnerable to sneak attacks. So people are in situations now where they're almost hoping that their paralyzing effect on their weapon doesn't go off, so that they can get sneak attack opportunities against whatever target they're fighting. I mean, that's just not good, is it, really? My hope, and I think the gist of one of the forum threads I was reading, was for some sort of uniformity, so people can make better decisions. I've been in the past, I've done lives in the past where I've been going along, you know, assuming that things, maybe a trip like this also, this fine dust, is very good CC knockdown trip, but doesn't cause helpless. And I've assumed that various spells or abilities on my character did cause it, whereas in actual fact none of them did, including paralysis. So I was I just don't know what to say about all that. I would just, either way, I would like to see all does or all doesn't. Just make it simpler for people to use. I mean, the game is so unnecessarily complex for new starters to pick up anyway. You know, like with all the different terminology they use for what's basically the same thing, like deadly and then topaz of damage, or impulse and force, you know, meaning the same thing, and people have just left to try and piece it all together. So yeah, get your act together, developers, and uniform the stuff. Make it a little bit easier for folk.
Waves of heat cascade over you as you
Okay, we're going to try a stun on the big guy here.
Smoldering creatures are inside.
There you go. I think we can see he's been...
You've smothered all resistance in the sorting room. The way to the upper library is open.
I didn't show the skills, did I? But as a rogue, I think you can guess. You just have loads of everything, and there's plenty that's useful to us. Disable is obvious, but all the thiefy skills I was able to max, and then spellcraft as well, because that arcane ambush will be scaled a bit higher off that. Everything, a UMD as well, everything we wanted we could put points in. You just have an embarrassment of points as an intelligence rogue.
The archives here are untouched by the
Speaking of
fates,
spellcraft,
even
I
though
think
a
we can
fire
use that
giant
here to
stands
get our
next to
extra
stack of
chest.
books. He looks concerned, almost afraid.
No, I was hoping we might see a Mithranor weapon they can drop in those chests. Right, let's go with the CC. See, the Reaper's nicely stunned there. And we've got things on the floor as well from the dust. So just to reiterate, it's a nice cone in front of you, you know, quite a distance either side, but just not very deep range-wise, the dust. I think I need to change these two over. I keep casting the dust where I meant to do a quick strike because I've literally just picked up the sound burst and changed the button. Now then, sound burst into there sounds like a plan, except I think it might be on cooldown. There we go. One pack, nicely CC'd. We're going with the hands. Oh, we keep... it didn't show it because we have Snow Peak's Ruby on this weapon. I can't remember what it... The one that gives the freeze on occasion. And that, even though that's low level, that does go off occasionally and help us. Knock down on the dogs there. Let's try the stun on you. Did it work? I'm not sure. There will be things that are immune until we get the third tier that I mentioned of that.
But the Afriti escaped through the portal. Chase him down to guarantee he can't bring any more of his minions.
Let's try again on this one. So we can see the hand, we can see the slap hand. No, so they're obviously immune to it. So I guess the only thing we've got at the moment against elementals would be the blind. So we can see that at the moment the sound burst does have quite a long, again, dust knockdown, you see, nice wide cone. Sound burst does have quite a long cooldown. I think it's 15 seconds, is it?
Ahead, you can
on
see
this?
Afriti gathering more of his fiery minions. Put an end to him once and for all. With the Afriti defeated, the library will be safe once more. You helped protect a bit of Mythdrana's history.
That's the paralysis from Bloom going off. Oh, nice one. Don't forget to keep your Genie's discovery boost up at the moment. We've got two nice little things. Oh, now then. Oh, it's nimble skills. That could have been a amazingly lucky drop. Look at that. 7 and 7. If that had disabled device on, I'd have been going for it. I think it's 15 and 10 seconds the cooldowns, does it say? Maybe it says in the trees here. Oh no, they both cool down 15. Oh, 20 seconds on the sound burst. Okay, that's why I've been pressing and on occasion it hasn't been doing anything. So they are relatively long, but once we get to here and we get to the stage where we've got 3 of them, I think we could reasonably intersperse them, especially considering that we do also have single target ones for like mini bosses and that kind of thing.
The smoke billowing from a gigantic tree nearby caught your eye.
I look forward to meeting the big Orthon in Grim and Barrett with this array of single target stuff
who watches the blaze with grave
to
concern.
use. I tell you what, I won't bore you by running all the way up there. Let's go and do something we can immediately go into. There's one in the harbour, isn't there? One of those new ones with all the dinos. The one that replaced the illusory larcener. Let's try this one. So this has plenty of packs of things, so this will be a test for our AoE CC. We're a bit behind the curve on the two-handed line. As mentioned, we don't have greater two-handed yet. But I still think we're doing okay.
From deeper in the wilderness, you can hear high-pitched shrieks.
Let's
and
try
deep
where
roars.
possible to CC from
Dinosaur
distance.
Horde must be nearby.
That looks pretty good. 2 Reapers in there just waiting for us. Finished him off with it's quite nice, the animations. Now I'm led to believe, I haven't tried this yet, but I'm led to believe that the hand can also do some, like if you do expressions or a smiley face or something, I think the hand can accompany it, can it? Is that how it works? Oh, ground. So we should never have issues with spell points, being as all we're really using for spells are SLAs and the odd top-up of the buff. This, by the way, in the staff lunge, I'm not... Let's just have a look. The costly as well, you'd have to put 3 in there to get 3 in here. I plan to just use it as a bit of a wings, but the animation I'm not particularly impressed with as a, just to use for wings. So I've kind of left that to one side, and I'm hoping that when we get the points, I'll use this vault instead when I want like a jump forward. It's on a 15-second cooldown, so not terrible. So just to save points, I just put, because I don't plan to really make use of either of these two on this build, I put 1 in each so I could get to there. I suppose it's an expensive wings at 4 points, isn't it? Maybe I ought to reconsider my choices, but if I don't do anything else, actually, let's do, oh, whoa. I'll slap you across the face, matey. There is a thing I could do. I could use the past life, couldn't I? The iconic past life that I'm sure we have on a caster. That one. It's only 3 per quest, but it's better than what we had. So yeah, let's go that way. Right, trying with the sound burst. Lovely stuff. Get stuck in there. With the concession to the DC feats, I haven't picked up what's it called? Whirlwind and the feats that go with that, unfortunately. But especially not pushing the levels. Face slap for you, matey. I think did he resist that? Hey, if he saved, fair play. Can they still... Oh, let's try and blind this guy or slap him or something. Yes. Dangerous creature. Nullified.
You've defeated the swarm of small but deadly creatures. Yet you can hear the sound of something crashing through the underbrush nearby. Time to deal with more of this dinosaur incursion.
Yeah, I can see more piles coming. Okay, next one. Yeah, that's the only thing. I shouldn't use both in one encounter. I should stagger them because they are on a bit of a cooldown here. Hopefully when the freeze comes and I stop pressing wrong keys, we're going to be better equipped to have a CC always available for any group. You've seen enough to see they're working very well. these. Oh, now then. And for any nasty single target, slap across the face and look. Docile. Lovely stuff. So nice range as well on the
You've dispatched another
sound
group of
burst.
dinosaurs. Yet a terrifying roar from nearby makes it clear.
I think we
that
need
the
to take
battle
care
is
of that
not
guy in
yet
the middle
won.
with the face hand slap thing, don't we? Absolutely. My God, if he hadn't have been helpless, what would we have done there? Okay. Oh, there's the one. Yeah, there's one. Looks like there's one big one with every group now. Let's just wait on the cooldown of the sound burst and send that into the middle. I guess that's the only downside of the flash freeze. You have to actually be in the middle. But my God, it's so much fun. I think it was my favourite alchemist spell, and I did enjoy the alchemist glass when I did one on the channel with purple. Oh, that didn't go so well, did it? We didn't get the big one, so mage hand to the rescue.
You pause to savor your victory, but are instantly interrupted by a deep,
Where are the
booming voice.
big folks? Over there? Okay.
To my army?
Let's just eliminate the trash if we can. I don't think that the hands, aside from very minimal extra damage, will have done anything to him, but I thought I'd try. We do get, I'm mentioning it because I was thinking about dooring back to the start. We do actually get a door later on this character, so that's nice too. So broadly speaking, it's going to be the standard spells that he gets. I'll show you what I've taken. I didn't show you that, did I? Standard spells for buffs, so anti-magic missile, protection from evil, invis, resist energies, displace haste, and the SLAs for our CC. That's a nice one. Not seen that before. Comes with a sun slot too. Right. I think that will about do it for this one. I hope I've shown enough to pique your interest if you haven't looked into the Trickster already. The long and short of it is, you can, if you're going with the mage hand abilities and SLAs, you can raise your DC to pretty prodigious levels in the late heroic. Now, thinking about the coming journey into epic, I've had things with abilities. I mean, we're on 80 now, aren't we, for the DC, and it's only going to get higher. I've had things doing well in late epic around that level of DC. And you could even see some, some triggers in legendary with that. So this thing definitely, if you're prepared to accept the, the fact you'll have only a limited number of spells and the cooldown. But I think if you invested more than I planned to in the Trickster tree, you could have up to 4 CC spells, couldn't you? Or does the last one come with a choice as well? Let's have a look. This one we know could be Greater Shout. That could be Flash Freeze. That I don't think we can see Oh, is that all it is? Yeah. So there's no choice on the last one. It's just a boost to the. So that would be probably more to the castery type with the magical ambush. I think they're the ones more likely to use that. So, but you could have 4 CCs to cycle round. Greater Shout, Flash Freeze, Sound Burst, Fine Dust. And I'm trying to guess based on where we are now. I think you could, with a minimal amount of effort, because this is the other thing at the moment for the casters to really push DC in Legendary, it's quite a lot of work going through various either set bonuses or the new Sun and Moon augments, all that kind of stuff. And this thing looks like it could get to the same level or maybe even significantly higher with a bare minimum of investment on the gear side. So that definitely, I mean, that's not talking about the, and people in the forum are saying damage-wise it's lackluster, that kind of thing. I'm not going to know about that because I'm not going to try and gear it for the cap. But for leveling experience, it looks to me like it could be a lot of fun. So if you're at all interested by the illusion and force power as past lives, go and have some fun into the bargain. Right, I really am going now. Thanks very much as always for looking, and I'll speak to you next time. Take care.